Hello and welcome everybody. This is the bonus mobility video for the Digital Golf Docs Senior Mobility Challenge. This one isn't going to be region specific. We're going to make this a full body yoga movement flow. So it's going to improve everything, and I think it's really going to top off the challenge well. So let's go ahead and jump in. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to make sure future videos find you easily and I can keep bringing you the content you want. So I'm going to start with my feet shoulder width apart, and I'm just going to do some gentle turns for the full body so that we're getting started nice and easy. We don't want to rush through anything. Get the blood flowing, the muscles warm, and then we'll get after it a little bit more aggressively. After a few turns, I'm going to go into a split stance. I'm going to go 1 foot forward, 1 foot backward. Most of my weight is in this front foot, and I'm going to twist mostly from my upper back, but you can let the hips move as well. Again, we're just building heat here and getting ready to really take our muscles to more demanding positions. Go ahead and switch feet. Always focused on your breathing throughout. A key principle for yoga is if you're not controlling your breathing, then you're not getting the best out of your mobility practice. Perfect. Now I'm going to go sideways so you can see me. I'm going to do 5 slides down the front of my body, down the legs, up, down. Starting to warm up the spine, warm up the hamstrings. Just go as low as comfortable. I don't want you to force any movements just yet. We will get more aggressive as things go. After forward, we're going to do backward. A lot of times I like to take my hands to my low back to support myself. If you've had back injuries, I can relate. I spent months in a back brace several years ago, and I had to work like heck to get my mobility and my athleticism back from that. Great. Now we're going to go down to one knee. If you need to, you can always roll a towel up or put a pad under your knee. And what I'm going to do is make some turns, mostly from my thoracic spine. I'm going to use my knee for leverage to help me twist as far as I can in each direction. Again, maintain your breath. Deep breath if you haven't checked in a while. I'm going to bring my arms up overhead and make a baby back bend. And I'll repeat this 5 times again if you need to. Support from your lower back as you open your chest up to the ceiling. Again, make sure you maintain your breathing. Now, I'm going to tilt my pelvis back. So I'm kind of sucking in, trying to aim my belly button to the sky. I'll shift forward, and I'll start getting a stretch on the front of my hips, right through those hip flexors and quads. If you feel it high, you have tighter hip flexors. If you feel it low, you have tighter quads. Doesn't really matter. Just means that you're tighter in one spot than the other. But everyone's different, so if you do this with a friend or anything, compare notes, you're going to notice you might not have the same feeling every time. Perfect. We'll take a relax out of that. We'll switch the knees and we'll go back to rotation. Again, pad under the knee if you need one. Using your knee for leverage to really get maximum turn. There'll be 5 of this motion. One more. You might get some clicks and pops and cracks like I just did there. Control the pelvis. Again, try and aim that belly button up. Shift your hips forward until you feel a stretch in that quad or hip flexor on the other side. Take a few deep breaths here. Again, yoga is big time about controlling your breath. So you have to make sure you do that to get your maximum results. Perfect. Now I'm going to bring my other knee down. And I'm going to drop down to my hands and knees. And I'm going to go into a lumbar locked thoracic rotation. So I'll shift my hips back. I'll take my hand. I'm going to reach it through, turn my chest. And then I'm going to open up. Reach through, turn my chest, and open up. And if you don't go very far, that's fine. That just means these videos are probably really important for you. So keep working at them, but don't feel like you need to get all your mobility gains in one day. Perfect. Bring my hand out, and we're going to go to the other side. Again, you'll hear some strong exhales from me and inhales as we go. And I want you to be doing the same thing. Perfect. Come back up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rock back into child's pose. You can have your toes tucked under or bent like this, whichever is more comfortable. Your knees can be together or your knees can be apart. Either way, you're going to drop down. Let your low back just melt into the ground. Spine is rounding. Deep breaths are happening. Rib cage expanding on the inhales. Contracting on the exhales. And we're just trying to let things melt open. 2 more breaths here. Then we'll go up. I'm going to bring my knees back and we'll lay down on the stomach. I'll use my hands for a nice gentle push. And what I'll do is every time I push, I'll push slightly higher. Again, maintaining that breath. Now that I've moved my spine in both directions to try and loosen it up, I'm going to add a control piece. So I'm going to go cow, cat. I'm going to move back and forth between the two, really getting the hips to move and the pelvis to change direction. Rory McIlroy has such great pelvis control. He has this move where he tilts posterior right near impact that I swear adds 10, 15 yards to his drive. Perfect. You can roll down to your side into a seat. I'm going to go into that old school butterfly position. So feet together, knees out to the side. And just let them melt down for a second as you take a deep breath or two. As they melt, you can add a little extra pressure with your elbows by pushing down. You may also grab your feet, pull yourself forward, let the spine round. And now we're working the inner thighs and the low back muscles. And I like to come up. I'll add some rotation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my feet on one side. I'm going to take my hand, assist my turn, and then I'll go the other direction. Let's do 3 each way. Now we're just taking mobility, again, multiple joints at one time, which is super valuable for golf because a golf swing, kind of unique to golf, at least compared to some other more simple movements, it requires everything. You have to be able to move from everywhere to play golf. I'm going to do one more push down on my knees, and I'm going to drop my feet out to the side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide down one leg, come up, slide down the other leg. Just as far as you're comfortable. It's a little bit more of a challenge if you slide with your opposite arm, try and touch your toes, than if you slide with the hand on the same side. That's going to be the slightly easier version. Just pick the challenge that's appropriate for you. You don't even have to go all the way down to your toes if you don't want. Right. And again, from this position, I'm going to take some turns. They can be very small turns. You've really locked out your hip mobility here, ate up a lot of the extensibility of your lumbar fascia, so you might not go far here. But there's a little lesson in control here, and again, we're adding that multi-joint mobility that's so valuable. Then I'll drop my hands down. I like to pull my toes back. I'm going to roll my legs out, roll my legs in. And I feel that tug on my hips as I roll in, which is okay. The unweighted position. You're not going to do any damage to the hips unless maybe you have something pre-existing. We'll assume for sake you don't, because this is very safe movement for 99% of people. Perfect. One more. Good. Now I'm going to bring my feet together, and I'm going to do those slides again, just to get a little bit more of that hamstring and lower back mobility. Again, you're just going to slide as far down as you can comfortably. You can do some rotation slides where you reach for the opposite outside of the ankle or foot. You can even drop a hand out to the side for a little extra support. Again, go at your own pace. Let your own mobility decide where you go. Perfect. Next, you can stay where you are and lay back. I'm going to turn sideways for the camera view. And what I'm going to do is bring your knee up, pull, and I'm going to hold. Take a deep breath. Drop this leg down. I'll drop this leg out. Hold, deep breath. I'll bring that leg down. We're going to switch. Bring it up first. Deep breath. Drop it out. Deep breath. And I will go both legs and hips. It's going to be a real nice stretch for the lower back. You might even almost feel your hips rock backward. It's like you can get a little bit of massage from the ground just from rolling your low back into it. If you have the mobility, you can even grab your big toes and go into a happy baby pose, or you can stay just where you're at and let those hips, hamstrings loosen up. You might bring them in and back out, maybe even around, so you feel the stretch in slightly different positions. Great. Now I'm going to come up to seated, drop one leg, cross the other one, and then I'm going to turn away from the straight leg. So this direction. Now we have a few different options here. I can take both hands and help myself pull my chest here. I can take my elbow over top and hook and pull. Or I can take my support arm away. I can come up into what we call prayer pose, which is going to look like this, so you can see it on the camera. And I hold that position. And I'll take 2 deep breaths here. One more. Again, you don't have to be that aggressive, especially if you haven't been doing a lot of mobility work. You're going to have to work up to that. We're going to go the other way. Again, we've got position 1, which is kind of the easiest. Position 2, arm support, elbow hook. Position 3, prayer pose. Hands meet the center of your chest, and you're using your knee to rotate. 2 breaths. Perfect. And I'm going to go up to standing, and I like the last position. Feet a little wide. Drop my head down. Arms can hang, or I can bring this up, and I can do a ragdoll pose where I just take these nice gentle twists or rocks back and forth and let the lower back kind of ease out. 2 deep breaths. It's natural that you rise up on the deep breath. Then I'll come up back up to the starting position. That'll tidy up our full body mobility challenge, our last of the senior mobility challenge. Please tell me in the comments, did you improve? What did you improve most at? Do you have questions, or how can you keep getting better? As always, please give me a like and subscribe. I will be doing more challenges like this in the future, as well as tons of other free content just for all of you. Thanks.